What's up, everybody? SuperDurks fan here for another weekly update. So I think for the next several weeks here, I'm probably going to do without the Mustang portion just because there isn't anything new. I think that the Mustang updates being separate is a better way to go because there's so much news to cover. I don't want to make these things 45 minutes long. So I'm just going to get right to the news here. And for the next following weeks here, with the Geneva Motor Show and the New York Auto Show coming up, I think I'm just going to do strictly news here on Fridays from, at least for the next couple of months here until the summertime. So, getting right down to the first story this week is the new Dodge Demon teaser. So every week, they've been posting these new teasers. This week's focuses on the new drag mode that the Dodge Challenger Demon is going to have, and it's essentially some fancy programming for the traction and stability control systems in conjunction with the new suspension components that have been optimized for awesome drag launches. In case you missed it, this thing is just all about drag racing and nothing else, basically. So they're saying that the hardware that's going to be involved here with the Demon, as far as making it awesome for drag racing, is that it has a 35% lower rate for the front springs and 28% lower spring rate for the rear springs, 75% lower rate hollow front sway bar, and a 44% lower rate rear sway bar. So just making everything, not worried about the handling whatsoever. That also has drag-tuned Bilstein adaptive damping shocks. And that, combined with traction control being disabled and having the stability control system still maintained, allows for their very weird results. So they've been teasing this number, this equation, I guess, that doesn't make any sense to anyone. It's 13.5 equals 575 at 500. So if you can figure that out, let us know. But otherwise, it remains a mystery, and they say that there'll be more info about the drag mode that'll be revealed over the coming few weeks here leading up to the New York Auto Show. And so exciting to see that. Another Mopar thing that's going to be revealed at the New York Auto Show is we just found out that the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk is going to be unveiled at the New York Auto Show alongside the Demon. So the Trackhawk is, basically the SRT Jeep just taken up a notch, has the Hellcat motor in it most likely, some kind of supercharged Hemi, and should be one heck of a monster. They're not sure though, considering it'll most likely be all-wheel drive, whether this will have limited power in first and second gears to not blow that all-wheel drive system to smithereens, or if they've reinforced it to be able to handle that crazy amount of torque. But interesting to hear that that's going to be revealed, and so very exciting stuff here going to be coming out in New York. And a very interesting piece of news that no one was really expecting is that Italdesign, which is a company that's controlled by Lamborghini and does a lot of the designing for Lamborghini, they're coming out with their own limited edition special car. And so it's going to be basically worked over Huracan, but as you can see here, looks nothing like it. It's kind of like a complete one-off body type thing, but it's going to have the chassis and underpinnings of what is most likely a Huracan, although they didn't specify that. That's what we can infer based on the few specs that they gave us. They said that the car is going to be powered by a 5.2 liter V10 engine that sends it to 62 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds. If that sounds familiar, same powertrain as the Huracan. And yeah, Italdesign is controlled by Lamborghini, and they work very closely with each other, so most likely this is just a very exclusive version of the Huracan. They're going to be making 5 of these things, and of course they're probably already sold and spoken for, but we will be able to see it at the Geneva Motor Show here, alongside, of course, we know that the new Huracan Performante, which is the faster version of the Huracan, will also be on display at the Geneva Motor Show as well. Again, lots of exciting stuff here at Geneva, and so very cool to see that, and hopefully we see more pictures of it soon. For a brief moment, I'm going to take a break from the Geneva news and focus on Tesla very quickly, and this is because this is a very exciting piece of news that I wasn't expecting personally. I think it was a surprise to a lot of other people, and that is that in a recent Tesla earnings call, they actually said that they're on track to start producing Tesla Model 3s by July, and that is for the early production models, press units, things like that maybe. They said that mass production will start in September, and by that point they're hoping to get up to 5,000 cars per month is what I believe they said here. So Or wait, it's 5,000 per week. My apologies. So they want to churn these things out very, very quickly and hopefully get caught up on their huge backlog of pre-orders they have for Model 3s. And so yeah, I wasn't really expecting this car for like another year because, you know, Tesla, they kind of are delayed with some of their, you know, when things actually arrive versus when they promise them. So this still remains to be seen, but we know they've been building batteries already for Model 3s. The Gigafactory's up and running. And so this actually seems very obtainable. So very exciting to see that, and hopefully these Model 3s will actually be in customer hands by the end of this year, at least for some of those early ones that were ordered right off the bat. So cool to see that. Back to the Geneva news. One thing that will be shown most likely at Geneva, but is going to be revealed even earlier, and if you're watching this on Friday or after, then that most likely is already revealed. I'm filming this on Thursday, so I'm missing out on it so far, but I will include the link in the description to the new Ford Fiesta ST. So as of the time of filming this, they just revealed a teaser for the ST, and that teaser just shows it in a very dark environment. You can't see too much of it, but you can make out that it's going to look, you know, similar to other STs in the past, just on the new Fiesta platform there. And so yeah, the link will be in the description below for the full car. Now this is for the European version. We haven't even seen the normal North American Fiesta, let alone any kind of ST for us. We know it's going to probably have more power than the current Fiesta ST whenever it finally does arrive here. We know it's a very good seller for Ford, so we're confident we're going to be getting the new ST here in the States as well. So it's just a matter of when it arrives. But yeah, hopefully we'll start seeing that stuff maybe at the New York Auto Show here in April. They'll unveil all those. But again, it all remains to be seen. Another hot hatch thing actually came out last week, and I didn't mention it, but this week I want to mention that Honda is promising that the new Civic Type R, the production version, will be shown at the Geneva Motor Show. Now, we've basically seen the production version. The one that they showed us was called a concept, but it was very, very, very close to production. I don't know what on that car is concept car like in any way. But they're saying production is going to be starting this summer for these. So, you know, hopefully they'll be arriving late summer, early fall. You know, is when the first ones should be showing up here. And but yeah, so we'll see the production version of that, hopefully in a range of colors and whatnot, at the Geneva Motor Show. Another vehicle that's going to be shown at the Geneva Motor Show that was teased was the Range Rover Velar, which I talked about last week. And you know, last week we just had spy shots of it. This week here we have an official teaser which shows a massive glass roof and some slimmer taillights there. And we know that's going to be based on the Jag F-Pace and most likely share the same engines as that. But this is going to be more tuned for luxury, whereas the F-Pace is more tuned for sportiness, although it's not like the F-Pace isn't luxurious, but this is more of a cushy ride, I believe, is what they're going for, and it's kind of like a slightly smaller version of a Range Rover Sport, just to kind of compete better with the Mercedes GLC and stuff like that, since the Evoque's pretty dated and also a little bit on the smaller side and less competitive. So should fill in nicely, and so I think we'll be seeing that here next week as well, as when they're going to do their official reveal. And some cool news for BMW fans here in the States, and that is that BMW has announced a 2017 M2 Performance Edition. It's going to be 150 units only, and it's only going to be sold in the United States, interestingly enough. Not sure why we're only getting it, but anyway, we're not complaining. It's going to be $61,695, and so it's very interesting in this thing. Now, I'm not going to criticize it too much. We don't actually have any official images of it even yet. We know that they're only going to be available in Alpine White, which isn't a bad color, though. I love the way they look in white. But anyway, the basic gist of this package is that this Performance Edition is going to have a lot of the sporty options that are already available on the M2, such as the M Drivers package, into one trim, essentially. But some of the really unique stuff that you get here with the this special Performance Edition is that it has a coilover suspension that has a firmer ride, of course, and it also has an M Performance exhaust with titanium tips. They've raised the top speed to 168 miles per hour over the 155 that the other one was electronically limited at. There's no change in horsepower or anything like that. The same 365 horsepower. And also, in addition to the white exterior paint, you also get black accent pieces like the grills, side gills, and mirror caps. But so here's the interesting part of this thing. Now this is, they're bragging that this is like the bare bones, lightweight M2 that has a hi-fi audio system instead of the Harman Kardon system, single zone climate controls, deletion of the smoker's package, manual seats that don't have any kind of lumbar or heating, so it's raw, bare bones. But then they say it also has M Performance illuminated side sills and LED light projectors that display an M Performance graphic on the ground. So, you know, if it's going to be stripped out and you're trying to market it as this lightweight thing, why are you including projectors in the mirrors on the ground and, you know, lighted door sills and things like that? So it's kind of an odd mix-up of packages there. But it should be a cool, you know, thing nonetheless. I like those kind of things. The projector things, that's what the Mustang has. But for a lightweight, you know, thing that you're marketing as this raw version of the M2, it's kind of strange to include those things. But should be cool, you know, for those that don't like lumbar support and want to have a bare bones M2, then this one is for you. And another week, another special edition. It seems like 2017 is becoming the year of the special edition. That's all we saw in Chicago was special editions. Lots of stuff at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit was special editions. And Mercedes-AMG is very excited about their 50th anniversary for AMG. And so they're going to be showing off several different special editions. There were 3 announced the other day and then 2 more just today. And so they're all going to be shown at the 2017 Geneva Motor Show, of course. The first of these special edition models is the Mercedes-AMG GTC Roadster Edition 50, which is exactly like the Edition 50 of the normal AMG GT that we saw at Detroit, but just in convertible form. It has the same 550 horsepower as the GTC Roadsters normally do. The Edition 50 package is essentially, you know, just an appearance package that gives you the Designo graphite gray, which is matte, and it looks very mean. It's a very sweet looking package, just blacks everything out essentially, and the interior is all blacked out as well, much like you would expect. They're going to be making 500 of these things. 50 of them are coming to the United States, and so it's going to be a very rare car indeed, and should be a good amount more expensive than your normal GTC Roadster, which is far from cheap on its own. The next one of these special editions is the Mercedes-AMG C63 Coupe and Convertible with the AMG Performance Studio package, which is, again, an appearance package that includes a number of gray and black accents everywhere, and, you know, all the chrome has been blacked out instead of, you know, being chrome, and, you know, looks pretty cool as well. The next special edition is called the C43 Cabriolet Ocean Blue Edition, which they're making 150 of these, and they have blue tops, blue trim for the front bumper and wheels, and some interesting gray leather with different trim on the inside as well. Again, I'm not sure who really buys these limited editions, to be perfectly honest, but they're so rare that, you know, I'm sure that there's like at least 150 people, I guess, supposedly to buy these things, but just doesn't make much sense. The next special edition is the SL Designo edition for the SL 450 and SL 550, and it basically has higher quality materials throughout, makes it more luxurious, and they're going to be available in blue or red. The last of these special editions is the SLC Red Art Edition, which is for the SLC 300 and SLC 43 AMG, and so they're all finished in selenite gray. It's either, if you get the AMG version, then it's a matte gray, and they also just obviously have the red accents, and all these special edition, limited edition models are going to be available this summer if you have to have one. For some much more exciting news, a new vehicle from Mercedes-AMG that's going to be shown in a concept car form at the Geneva Motor Show is this new, what they're going to be calling supposedly the Mercedes-AMG GT4. So like the AMG GT, but with 4 doors. And it actually isn't based on the AMG GT. They say it's actually going to be on the same platform that the C, E, and S classes are all on. It's a modular platform. But we'll have probably a lot of styling that's similar to the AMG GT, most likely. But anyway, it's going to just be a concept car. It's going to preview a future production model that's going to be powered by this new 4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine that's supposedly going to be doing around 600 horsepower. And this vehicle is on track to supposedly be arriving in dealerships in 2018, so this concept won't seem too concept-y. You know, it should make an easy transition to production. But it's basically, this is designed to compete with the BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe, the Audi A7 and S7, and of course the Porsche Panamera as well, which is, I think, its main target. And yeah, so they also say that some interesting cool technology could be integrated into this vehicle, such as the newly developed integrated starter motor they're calling ISG, and this ISG has a 20 horsepower electric motor mounted within the gearbox, and the interesting thing about that is it can either be like a boost button to provide extra bursts of power, or it can also be used to instantly start up for instant start-stop performance. So basically, you know, with a lot of these dual clutch systems, there's still a little bit of lag, especially in Mercedes system. There's a little bit of lag there if you're, you know, quickly starting off from a stop. And so this would eliminate that so that, you know, that electric motor could fill in with a little bit of power just to get you moving until that clutch is fully engaged and really make it for a seamless experience. which is really, really great, and it's exciting to hear that because I think that's one of the things that was always my disappointment with the CLA 45 AMG and vehicles like that is the dual clutch just wasn't perfect from a stop-start kind of situation. So that should hopefully help remedy that. Another interesting thing, another special edition model actually that was revealed is Aston Martin, their new Vantage Red Bull Racing Edition, which is going to be available in gloss or matte blue or in silver. Basically it's just to celebrate their partnership with Red Bull Racing. It's identical to the normal V8 and V12 Vantages. It's just special paint, special grille colors. You can get the grille in either red or yellow, and just the different embroidery you see and things like that is all. This is just a package done by Q. Again, another limited edition vehicle for those that really want them. They're also another cool little thing is since they are it's got the F1 connection there. They are available to be signed either by Daniel Ricciardo or Max Verstappen. So cool to have that, but again, you probably will hardly ever see these things. I'm not sure how many they'll even sell. They didn't announce how many they're going to actually build, but I'm sure it's just on an as wanted basis. Some more exciting Aston Martin news, again, more new car news, is that the Aston Martin DB11S, or what we're thinking will be called the DB11S, was spied out testing. And so basically it looks similar to any other DB11, except that you can see it has a much more aggressive front bumper there with a wider air scoops there, and in the back it also has a more aggressive rear diffuser, and so just basically a sportier DB11. They have done things like this in the past with the DB9 and the Vanquish and all those vehicles, and so I think this is kind of more like the DBS version. I think the Vanquish will come later if they decide to do another Vanquish, but this is pretty exciting, and it should probably have more horsepower, and it was spy testing alongside the convertible version, which they have already promised that will be arriving spring of 2018. So the fact that these are both being developed side by side makes me believe that this S version will also be available by spring of 2018 or thereabouts. And so but very exciting to see those out spied running around. Another thing that was spied out running around yet again was the BMW Z5 and the Toyota Supra was following along behind it there. Those two were close buddies that are always seen together, it seems. But the interesting news this week about the Supra and the Z5 is when we're actually going to see these things. And they've been saying that the production facility that's going to be building these two cars has been on hold waiting to start production recently, and it's I think for a couple months now they've been like ready to go, like they're ready to start building these things once they're given the green light. So it could actually be seen as soon as the Geneva Motor Show, for a thinly veiled concept, or finally just the full production version. And hopefully, I believe these are supposed to be 2018 model cars, so hopefully they'll start building them here this summer and be available, by fall or winter. But we'll just have to wait and see because we don't have too much information still on those. But cool to see those. And the Z5, it's cool to see it with its top actually down now. We know the Supra is going to be hard top only. Another vehicle that spied running around was the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo, which is what they're going to be calling the wagon version of the Panamera, we believe. And it was just spied running around here with the e-hybrid trim, because you can tell that basically because all the green calipers, that's always a hybrid thing for Porsche. So that's most likely what we're seeing here. And so we're probably going to see this maybe at the Geneva Motor Show, although it could wait and debut at the Frankfurt Motor Show in September instead. But yeah, that looks very good, and hopefully we see it completely without camouflage soon too. Some more exciting cars that were spied this past week. First is the Audi RS4 Avant, which is the wagon version of the Audi RS4 that we probably won't be getting here in the States. But never say never. We do get some of the other RS models, and we know that Audi is committed to bringing more RS models to us as well. So fingers crossed we get this one, but who knows yet. Anyway, you can see it's much more aggressive with the more aggressive front bumper and rear bumper, very large exhaust tips there in the back, and the wider fender flares. It looks great. I love the RS4 Avants in the past. They've just been so cool. And so the only disappointing thing about these new RS4s is that it's rumored to have the same engine as the new RS5, which is also a disappointment. They're both using the same 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 that was designed jointly with Porsche, which is cool. It's going to be just as powerful as the outgoing V8, 450 horsepower, and it's probably actually going to have 100 pound-feet more torque with this new turbo engine. but it's, I mean, it'll hopefully sound decent, but just sucks to see another V8 go. And so, yeah, twin turbo V6 here for the new RS4 and RS5, but pretty cool nonetheless. Now, this is another vehicle that probably won't be shown until the Frankfurt Motor Show in September, and yeah, we don't know whether it's coming to the States yet or not. But we know the RS5 will hopefully be making its debut at the Geneva Motor Show next month, so we'll at least see that one then. Another vehicle that was spied running around was the Jaguar F-Pace SVR. Now, Jaguar being the awesome brand that they are, they don't wait too long before introducing very high-performing versions of all their models. And so, as we can see, much more aggressive front intakes there here for the new SVR. It'll most likely have the same glorious supercharged V8 engine as the other SVR products, like the F-Type SVR. Not sure if it's going to have as much horsepower as the F-Type SVR, you know, at 575, but it very well could, especially for an SUV. I'm sure it could use it. So cool to see that. And another vehicle that wasn't spied testing yet, but we're hearing that it's supposedly running around along with the F-Pace, and that is an XE SVR. So we just had last week the announcement that for 2018 here in the States, us Americans are getting the XES. It's already been available in Europe, but we'll be getting that with a 380 horsepower motor. So the next logical step is, of course, to throw the V8 in it. So that's what we're hearing, is that this SVR is going to be an M3 fighter, and that's according to Auto Express. They're the ones that broke this story. And they're saying, though, that it probably will be toned down a little bit from the F-Type SVR's motor. So that one does 575. They're saying to be more competitive with the current range of horsepower of all the other competitors, this may only do 500 horsepower. But Jaguar in the past has been known to be the muscle car of the group and be the most overpowered one of the group. So I'm still keeping my fingers crossed they put the full 575 or maybe 550 in this to really just outdo all the competitors, aside from the CTS-V and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that it gets more power, but 500 is still nothing to cry about. And so yeah, hopefully we see that spied running around soon as well. And the last two stories this week are from General Motors. The first is that they officially announced the top speed for the Chevy Camaro ZL1. And they did testing, and the official number is 198 miles per hour is the top speed for this thing. But that's the average of 2 runs. They had to do 2 runs because they have this oval circuit, and I guess one way there's less wind resistance than the other way. So the one way they only got 193 miles per hour as their top speed, but the other way they got it up to 202.3 miles per hour. So this thing really will do 200 miles per hour in the right conditions. So, or over 200, 202, which really makes it pretty fast. That's actually, even at the 198 top speed, that already is tied with the Corvette Z06. And really, since it does 202, you could argue it's faster than a Z06 really in a straight line, which is very exciting to see that. And so very, very impressive. And so yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on a ZL1 soon to review, because it sounds like an absolute monster. And then the other piece of GM news this week is actually from Cadillac, and that is that they've overhauled their infotainment system. It's not going to be called Q anymore. That's how much of a change this is. And their aim is to make it a lot better, since everyone loves to complain about the Q system. I personally don't think it's that bad at all. I don't know why everyone's up in arms about it all the time, but they wanted to improve it, and so they say this new system is more intuitive with a more logical interface design. They say that they now have a new summary view, which gives an overview of climate, media, navigation, and phone at all times. And also this system is going to be set up to receive over-the-air updates, so that they can push out new updates wirelessly as well to keep it up to date. And there's also a 4G LTE connection within the car, like all the GM vehicles have now. And that'll be used to connect the car with a cloud, which can do all kinds of things, including keeping your preferences for everything. And you can actually go from Cadillac to Cadillac and all those port over. But there's also a new available navigation function, which Cadillac says is more of a smartphone type interface, and it uses that data connection to provide current destination info, and is supposed to learn a driver's habits, such as their preferred routes and frequent destinations. And then the system will offer those suggestions up, proactively, so that whenever, for example, you're hopping in your car at 5 o'clock, it should be able to know, oh, you're going home, and automatically offer that. Although if you're on your daily commute, I don't know why you need to run your navigation system, but it's nice. And I know, see, the thing is, though, I wish that all these car companies would just work on making Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connect wirelessly via Bluetooth. So as soon as you hop in the car, you immediately have instead of having to plug it in. Because that way, I mean, like I said, all the normal Apple and Android systems already do that. Google Maps already does that. Apple Maps already does those things where they figure out where you're probably wanting to go and offer up the navigation. So that's already old news. So instead of trying to rework your system to do that, why not just, everyone has an Android or an iPhone these days, make that wirelessly connectable. I know that might be an Apple issue, but just do that and then you're good to go. And it's a lot less work, I think. But hey, I commend them for putting all that effort into make it work here within the Cadillac system as well. There's also, it looks like they may have worked over the gauges a little bit on the digital gauge clusters here for the new Cadillacs, but we don't have any close-ups of those to really know for sure or any new details. But anyway, this whole new system is going to appear first actually in 2017 Cadillac CTSs that are currently being produced. It's going to be like a mid-model year update, and then of course they'll be rolled out, I believe, for all 2018 model Cadillacs that'll be built here in the next couple of months. And so should be hopefully a good improvement, and hopefully I get to get my hands on it soon to test it out myself. But yeah, so that's it for all the news this week, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the weekly update. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care.